Riders ready, watch the gate.
Oh, hey everybody. Listen, this is a little special, different kind of show for you. We've spliced together a bunch of stuff. We've add some stuff to it and some outtakes at the end. We've deleted our commercials and we've put some new ones in there. And so enjoy the entire show. And I just want to tell you that on behalf of my Dirty Knob brothers, to all of you, our BMX family, all of our brothers and sisters in BMX, thank you for your support. Hope you enjoy the show, and we'll really look forward to coming back to you next year for season 3.
Hey, welcome to the Dirty Knots podcast. I'm your host, Hollywood Mike Miranda.
Oh no, this is going to be your first dramatic exit.
This is it. The dirty shorts.
Right,
man, for our season finale, I thought we would just do this one, the three of us, a little different. We would talk about, kind of a recap of our first 2 seasons, talk about our favorite and other type stuff about what our episodes were, what you like. Yeah, why don't you read the episodes to us?
Oh, okay. All right.
Of the episodes we've done. Hold on. EC.
Yeah.
What was the first episode we did? Do you remember? What was the very first episode we did?
I don't know which one. The first one we did was with Rob O.
Yes, the one that never aired. The one that never aired.
I thought I would catch him on that. I thought I would have. Good one.
No, I remember that. I don't know which one aired first. I have no idea because I know there was a delay with Rob O's because of the audio stuff that we had, right? I mean, there was fans and shit going on in there. There was all kinds of stuff.
The truck was backing up. People were stealing bikes, and the homeless were fighting for bikes in the alley. It was certainly, I think, maybe one of our craziest recordings.
Yeah,
we had laptops on shoe boxes. We had, had to download the newest thing, and his other computer didn't work, and
that was fantastic.
It was. We had no idea what the hell we were doing.
Hey, man, I don't know about you guys, but it set a precedent for me. Like, I liked that it was a little bit raw. And so when I left that, I was like, I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, not honed. I mean, we probably needed to be a little bit more dialed, but I like the raw, and that's still how I run it. So
yeah, I have the whole recording. Yeah. I recorded it on my phone.
Yeah.
But it's the sound is, it's distant and stuff. But I mean, I have the whole thing. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. The essence of what it is hasn't changed with us. It's the same thing what we do now.
Exactly. Yeah. So I liked that one. That was good.
No. Dude, I cannot believe going back and I did go back and watch that or listen to it. And man, I laughed my ass off listening to it again.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
Yeah. Oh my God. Talking about Mr. Morales' cooler was fantastic.
Yeah.
That's dude.
Well, what's hilarious to me, speaking of your parents, is in the Morales family at the BMX track, you were the least famous.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that.
Man, your mom and dad were absolutely famous at the BMX track, and the fact that you always traveled with James and his parents.
Yeah.
You guys went everywhere together was great. That's how I got to know the whole pack of you. It was great. And you're hilarious, man. Your parents were hilarious.
Oh, they're so funny. And just
Robbie, you might have been number 4. Yeah. I think the cooler was number 3.
Yeah.
Your dad's blue and white igloo cooler should be in the BMX Hall of Fame.
It should be in Oklahoma. That's right.
Oklahoma.
Oh man,
we got to sneak that thing in there, man. I can't tell you. After he was, all the pros loved your dad. Yeah. Loved him. And he'd be right there. You come in after between motos on a hot day and you'd be breathing hard, and your dad would be right there. Hey, you want a beer? Mr. Morales, I got racing. I got open coming.
Yeah. What do you say?
Okay. All right.
Don't dehydrate.
And James's dad was the same way, but man, your dad, I remember one story that was, I remember Gary Ellis was at a ABA national in one of those indoor U inside of a U, and Gary Ellis finished 5th in the semi.
Yeah.
And he had his head down, and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, Gary. You know, there's always next weekend." He goes, "Yeah, well, looks like I'm going to see Mr. Morales for the cooler."
Oh man.
Your dad was so famous for that. It's just
Yeah.
hilarious.
We've gotten I mean, clearly if you I feel like, you know, considering how we did on that one and then how we do now, I think we've gotten a lot better.
So as we get into this podcast, I think it'd be important that we all try and discuss what we think this is about, this us getting together. So Mike, you want to start, or Eric?
My lighting is really bad. It's too hot right in my face.
I did zero prep. No, I know we have topics. I did nothing. I'm just
good.
freestyling.
Okay. You think Joe Rogan has to do this?
Yeah.
I still haven't, I'm telling you, I've listened to maybe 5 minutes of total of all of our podcasts. I had 5. I was going to listen to one. I don't even remember which one it was. It was a while ago. I was going to listen to one on my phone and ended up work called and took the call, and I never got back on.
Well, I listen and watch each one probably
Oh man.
7 or 8 times
Yeah.
in the course of editing.
Yeah.
It's gotten easier. It certainly has gotten easier. And it's, I don't watch maybe 6 or 7 now. It's probably 4 or 5, because as we're recording, dude, I'm editing in my head. I'm going to move
You're
this
knowing
over
right
here.
where you're going to cut, right where you're going to splice, how that's going to sit in, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's shit that gets said, dude, I know I'm cutting out.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I was talking to one of my I didn't even know, but one of my coaches, I coached a high school mountain bike team, and one of my coaches was telling me the other day, he's like, "Man, dude, that podcast is funny." I'm like, "Yeah, we have a good time, man." And I said, you should hear the stuff that gets cut. I said, he goes, "Yeah, you guys got to do like a bloopers reel." I was like, "No way, man, that shit's getting burned." I said, maybe the statute of limitations will run out and we can air some of that stuff.
I was at a race in Long Beach at Norla Park, and she was in our open class, and I remember Mark Perez telling me.
Oh, that's what it was. It was Mark Perez, not Lopez.
Yeah.
It was Perez.
Yeah.
And somebody told me the story.
Yeah, I told you that story.
I remember hearing
behind the
it.
hill, and he goes, "Shit, dude, there's no way she's beating me." And she was beat. she was beat, and he put her right into the hay bales, rode right into her, T-boned the shit out of her, and ran her right into the hay bales. She high-sided over the hay bales and crashed. She didn't beat me either.
Hey, yeah, see that?
Yeah, I wasn't letting that happen either.
But she was winning, dude. She was gonna win that shit.
That's what you call equal rights, baby, right there.
Mark Perez, he told me before the race, because she was going fast that weekend, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, she ain't beat me." He ran her shit right into the hay bale.
You got to tell him he can't come on until he gets a wide lens for his camera to fit his head on the screen.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna roast him. When he gets on. I am so gonna roast him, dude.
Hey, you're gonna roast him about alcohol, aren't you?
Oh, that's my number one thing. I can't wait.
I know.
You know, JV, after the races, he would take rubbing alcohol. Every race, he bought a brand new bottle.
Yeah.
And he would take the cap off, and he would pour it in a washcloth, and he'd wash his face with pure alcohol.
Wow.
To
To clean his face.
To clean his face.
Yeah.
And I tell you,
Wow.
man, it don't take ugly off. And I'm going to tell him that, man. Every time I say, "Hey, man, it don't take ugly off."
Go ahead, JV.
I was gonna say I spoke to some of my friends that actually tried to watch the show, and
Yeah.
they said, "You guys are talking a whole different language to me. I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about."
Yeah. Yeah.
A guy not in the sport, doesn't know any, you know, they're just like, brother, I can't follow what you guys are talking about.
It is. It's
All
a
right,
cult,
makes
dude.
sense. Yeah.
You're in the BMX cult for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, I can tell you this. There's some stuff that I know that I have on. I've kept it all, right? We've got it all on the hard drive. It's if it fell into the wrong hands, whew.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Senator, can you explain this story about
Yeah.
you and the hooker and the God, just bad stuff.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right, so let me just tell you, the first episode we did, the
Oh, I
first
thought you wanted me to read
I'm
them
going
through.
to. I'm going to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first episode was just the three of us talking.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the Dirty Knobs podcast. I'm your host, Hollywood Mike Miranda. My co-hosts are my brothers in BMX, EC Eric Carter and JV James Vicente. Hey, man, thanks for joining our adventure. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. You're going to crack up just like we do. And really, hey, man, this is really just about us cracking up. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy.
And it was talking about what our podcast was and what we were planning to do and what we thought we'd try.
Right.
And JV, would you agree that we're pretty much stuck to it?
I think so. I think we've been to how we envisioned the whole thing going. We haven't really deviated.
EC, who do you think the first guest is that we aired?
Man.
It's a hard one to remember.
Who was early? Jeez, dude. I know we did like
See, I'll be editing all of this dead air.
Yeah. I know. I'm sorry. You got to edit that out. I think we did Stu kind of early, and I think we did Tracer kind of early.
We did Tracer kind of early. I'll go down the list, but you know why it's hard for you to remember? We've done 38.
I know, dude.
38 episodes.
I'm almost positive I know who it was.
Go.
Hold on.
And the reason I know is because I was thinking about Bomber and Grubs.
Nope.
Oh, dude.
Wait till you see how. I mean, down the list these guys are.
Because that was early, right?
Yeah, the first real guest we had. I mean, other than doing it at Robbie's thing, Perry.
Oh, dude, PK.
Right.
The reason you don't remember it is because you don't watch him.
I know. I don't watch him at all. Yeah.
Yeah, read the list. This will
All
be
right.
very interesting.
Okay, first episode. So 21 episodes in the first season. The first episode, as Mike said, was the three of us kind of laying the groundwork of what we wanted to do and why we wanted to do it. First guest, PK. Episode 3, second guest, Tommy Brackens.
Oh,
Episode 4, Funky Products, BMX Brothers, and Funny BMXers.
That was just the three of us talking.
That was
Yeah.
just us talking.
Remember that.
Episode 5, Tracer Finn. Eddie does that remote that he jumps in, right?
yeah, I remember that. He was
Ep-
driving. I
That's
remember
right.
that. He was actually
Yes.
driving.
He was driving.
Happy birthday, brother. Thanks, my buddy. I appreciate you. That's cool.
The next episode is Bomber and Grubs.
See, I was close,
We
dude.
were close, totally funny. Robbie Morales next, followed by John Cruz. Then just us three doing a best bike parts. Then episode 10, Bill Allen. Episode 11 was my questions to you guys. Stomp and Stew is after that. That was great. Sherry Elliott, Charles Townsend. Rivalries topic was the one after that. Legends of BMX live show from Frogtown with the help of Justin Shepard on that. That's when he first kind of jumped into to being with
Went
us.
to Tech IT.
He went to IT. Then we got Corbett and Big E next, followed by Lions. Greg Hill with the steroid controversy. That was a big one for us. That was actually the second largest viewed that we had. We had Brent and Brian Patterson, and then we, of course, closed our year with the Chris's special rental car stories. That's season 1. Shit. All right, season 2. EC, we did 17 so far. this year. Kicked it off with Crazy Ronnie, which was our third largest viewed episode. Toby Henderson, Jeff Botima, Cullinan and Pavlowski joined us for episode 3. Number 4 was JV Says You Have to Pick One. That was the one with the Mino or the Echo cooler helmet. Dirty Fest announcement, February 19th. Then we talked about just us three about BMX magazines. Remember going through that and what the best ones were and the best shots. Episode 6, Eddie King and Lee Medlin. They were rivals before, now friends. We talked about that rivalry. David Clinton and Byron Friday followed. We then recapped our Dirty Fest highlights. We were so excited. I remember about that one.
Yeah.
Then we had Oz on. We had Bob Osborne on, followed by Woody Itzin. We did an East versus West, which got a lot of talk on that. We got to follow up on that one, but that was a big one for us. We Frogtown prepped it. We had Kevin Shepman on, or Shepperman, as Mike Rodriguez says, which I'm not sure if he's kidding or he's really thinks that's his last name.
Old Shepperman was on. Old man Shepperman.
He was eating them sausages.
Frogtown recap. Then Mike and I went up to Oregon and did B-side bike show and did a short recap on that. We had the Crypt Plate gang on for episode 15, and we played our drinking game.
That's right.
Which was pretty fun.
I love that Curtis, during the recording, Curtis caught on and started on it.
Yeah, he did. He's right in the mix.
Kaz was on next, Jeff Kosmala, and then we discussed the Harry Leary incident.
That's right.
And that's where we are today.
Yeah. Great recap, man. So just thinking about some of them makes me laugh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
man.
So
hey, look, I'm 7. We did 2 seasons. You know, what do we got? 38 total things that we recorded. Man, that's a lot, man. I'm pretty happy with that. For us 3 to try and get is the hardest part, try and get together. I mean, think about that. We got together 38 times to record.
That is amazing that we could get together 38 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been great. It's been great.
In thinking back about them, man. So, EC, what would you say would be probably the most controversial one in your mind?
Most controversial one. It'd have to be. I mean, it's a toss up, really. Like between the Greg Hill one and the Harry Larry incident. Those 2 were the ones that were, Greg's wasn't, the foundation wasn't in controversy. Harry's was, but it's certainly, it touched on a subject that has been, forever discussed behind the scenes. And so, I think probably Greg's was probably the most controversial one.
Well, here's the deal. I'm never, ever going to accuse somebody of something that I 100% don't know that it's true. I'll never do that. That dude's a cheater. He used steroids he used steroids from middle of 84 through his career. And I know this for a fact.
And hence the second most views, it's saying a lot, because our viewership, I believe, has grown as well. We have more people viewing. And so the fact that our second most viewed episode was in season 1 still says a lot about how many people discussed that after they saw it. Oh my God, got on their phones. You got to see this, man. Greg talks about this. So, for sure the one with Greg would have to be the top one.
Yeah, I'd agree. What about you, JD?
Yeah, same, exactly the same. Yeah. It actually was the one we didn't even talk about post recording it. as much with Harry, or maybe another one would be 09 would be another one. But this one post, we had to get together and say, oh man, this is a lot. How do we put this out? Like we want to be transparent, because that's our show, as EC you brought up when we talked about Harry.
Right.
But at the same time, we just want to make sure we're fair.
Right.
And we let the opposing controversy have a say.
Yeah. And I know Mike reaches out always to the person that is being, who's being discussed in the controversy. They always have the opportunity to come on and discuss as well. So that way everybody knows that we're not, I don't want to say playing favorites. We certainly have our own opinion about certain things as well, but we grant everybody the opportunity to come on and if you will, defend themselves.
For the record, I'm 0 for 2.
Yeah.
They don't want to come on, but hey,
well,
we gave them the chance. I mean, we really do want them to come on and talk about whatever their side or what their position is or what have you, but they choose
or say they don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Or say that,
Right. So, but we would like grant. I think it's important, and I think it's good that we do grant. Well, you do, Mike. You're the one that does the reaching out. So that reaches out and says, "Hey, you have an opportunity," and you let them know. You let them know, "Hey, we're taping a podcast, or we've taped a podcast, and this was discussed." Just letting you know. Then they know beforehand. So
yeah. Well, it's fun. Hey, listen, and wording those texts to those people or that phone call, making that phone call. First of all, I'm nervous. Number two, I'm very careful.
Right.
It's not, hey, slam.
Yeah, for sure.
How you doing? Hey, nice Thursday. Ow. It's pretty good. We've had some that were super easy and super funny, but we'd have had a couple that were, I'd say, difficult. Difficult. JV, is there one that comes to your mind that was difficult to record or difficult to sit through?
I think Ronnie was probably a tough one, and just in terms of trying to keep it steady in terms of the flow, but he had the third highest views. So, and he always does on every one of his shows. He gets a huge following. So,
Ronnie has a lot to say, man.
He has a lot to say, which is great. I
Right.
think we were trying to be, or at least I was trying to keep it so it was consistently a topic, a next topic.
Correct.
We were bouncing.
Right. It was tough for different reasons, right? Like obviously, and I'm on the same, I literally have the same toughest ones as you do. Bill Allen, for the obvious reasons, I felt like we were carrying that one a little bit.
Yeah.
And, trying to like,
my shoulders are still tired.
Trying to get that motor going.
Yeah.
And but then the one with Ronnie was like, trying to slow. The hardest part with Ronnie is he has so much to say, and he is so passionate about what he has to say. He really is, right? He's a very passionate individual about his beliefs and the way he sees things. And so trying to get Ronnie to stop talking so that we could get him organized was that was the hardest part. It was just like avalanche after avalanche after avalanche of information. Just we're like, oh shit. Like, so trying to pull him back down and like get him going, like, okay, let's, because if you can decipher what Ronnie's trying to convey, it's actually really interesting.
It is. He's got a lot. He's got a lot to say.
He does. And seen and been around a lot.
Yeah.
So it, but it was just for us. I think it was a challenge for us to corral that whole situation, because he was just.
Hey, I want to say one more thing, because while we're on here, is that I know that.
Yeah, right. Please.
Yeah, here you go.
We still got.
Was it difficult? Was it really? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
James wants to know about how it was to have to take a beating from Richie when he went pro. Remember, I was trying to finish that, but I just keep talking.
That's okay.
He had the throttle on, man, and it was stuck, dude. I think the throttle cable was broken and stuck, man. Just pinned.
It was absolutely the most edited episode, because I had to take JV would ask him a question and he would ramble for 20 minutes about something that wasn't the question.
Yeah.
Hey, so what was your favorite bike that you rode, Ronnie? Oh man, an ABA owes me money and I didn't get the car and this, that, the other. And 20 minutes later, then you'd ask him, so Ronnie, you said you didn't get the right car. What car should you have had? And he'd stop and he'd think and he'd go, man, I really liked the Patterson I rode, or the Panda I rode back. And I was like, what, dude?
He actually
answered all the
back.
questions.
Yeah,
he
came back. He
all
goes,
the questions.
let me answer your question, but it was like already
40 minutes later, and I was cutting and splicing and moving, and
it was long.
We had three. I think we recorded over 3 hours.
Almost 4 hours. Yeah,
wow,
almost 4 hours.
By far, that was our longest. When you turn the recorder on to the time you turned it off, that was for sure had to be the longest.
Yeah, it was long, dude. And that's 1 o'clock. I start here at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. It was after 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it was after 1 in the morning.
Just you couldn't ask a question. You couldn't ask a yes or no question without getting a 40-minute answer.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it's crazy, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Ronnie,
but
bro.
it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, it was great.
I also thought Jeff Botima and Toby Henderson was tough because not because of either one of them two, but Botima's wife was not happy.
Dude, he was going in and out. Remember? Just
Oakley was involved and trying to, just make sure it's okay. I go in there and I want to tell him, if he wanted it back, I would have just handed it back to him, right?
Yeah, you gotta mute that. Maybe.
Hold on. We're gonna have to back up.
Just a second. What?
You gonna cut that one out?
All right, I'm here.
Okay.
So anyway,
and I remember us having the meeting after saying, okay, even because we have all the at the time, I don't know how we're doing it now, but we have all the picture we can see right now. But when you post it, right, Mike, you only do one at a time.
Yeah, you see the speaker.
So I remember us saying, well, we can edit out the times where Jeff had to jump off, because he was literally jumping off it for 10 minutes at a time.
Yes. And just before he got off, or right when he came on, you could hear he and his wife yelling at each other. And there was a little bit of domestic violence in one of them. She smacks him. It's hilarious.
I think he had to change locations several times too. He was one time the next time he's outside.
That was funny.
Oh man. Well, of the guests that we had, is there one guest that was most near and dear to your heart, or really tugged at your heartstrings, or you got emotional about? EC, I know which one for you.
Yeah.
I think when Sherry Elliott
had
the art piece that your dad had made for her,
for sure.
That was really a special moment for our podcast, I think.
So my mom is probably the first one to watch every one of these episodes. As soon as Hollywood loads it up, my mom is literally the first one.
I bet. Well, she's got her lucky seat watching.
Yeah. And
right now, seat, man.
I can tell you right now, as she's watching this, she's tearing up. I'm tearing up a little bit seeing that, because man, it was he took I don't think you understand how much pride he took in doing that, and he loved helping you and talking with you about
course and lines and things like that on the side of the course. He really, really loved that. So, he did. He took the time at work. He would make those things, and it was super special. So, man, it was so cool to see that. When you clicked on and I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, man, that is amazing.
And I was just going to have it there. I wasn't going to say anything because I just wanted to respect, whatever it is you wanted to bring up if you saw it. And I'm glad you did, because, I was real glad it was in the shot. I'm like, oh, that is just freaking perfect. I'm like, you know what? Let me up just a little bit so you can totally see it. There you go. I'm like,
yeah.
Sweet.
No, it's super cool, man. That's so cool, Sherry. I was so stoked to see that. It really made my night. That's really awesome. Oh, no doubt about it. And that whole podcast alone was fantastic as well, man. I thought, Sherry was awesome, dude. I still think maybe definitely top 3 guests that we've had on, and just the conversation we had with her. I mean, it was really, really good, insightful. And she elevated us to a different level of professionalism that we normally don't get to. We're normally just a bunch of campfire jokers, but it seemed like with Sherry, we went to a different spot that we could go to if we need to.
Well, first of all, what's fruition mean?
You're using big words now, Sherry. But yeah, it was definitely, that was probably, Coley, just interviewing him and talking with him about old times, and Charles as well. Cause I spent so much time with those guys, but Sherry, that deal with when she showed the award, man, that was
you got choked up for sure.
I did. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. It meant a lot, man. I mean, and the fact that is one of her most cherished items still. I mean, it means a lot.
Yeah.
Very, really cool.
JV, was there ever one that you got choked up about?
I think it's a little bit different. I'm not that close with a lot of the guests that we have, like especially the older ones. I choked up. I mean,
I can tell you one time, I know you were tearing up.
Oh man.
Ready for this one?
Go ahead.
When Greg Grubbs was freezing up, you were laughing so hard. You were crying.
JV, I could see you having some emotional thoughts, if you will, with the Rob O one, because you were really close with Robbie, man.
Yeah, we were close. I would say, like, if it's that way, and I think probably like in a different, not like choke. Yeah, I mean, Robbie, I was really close with Robbie when we were out east. We were yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with his mom and dad. We spent a lot of time together. But I'll say Mike, I'll say in the same sense also with Greg and Joe, because I spent a lot of time with them at Woodward, and I mean, that was like the height of the 80s BMX thing. So we traveled together to some races, and yeah, those are the closest I was, but that I am too. But I think that John Cruz, the John interviewing John Cruz, I didn't know John, I didn't know him, but my God, you could just tell he's got such a big heart, and all the stuff that he's been going through, and then recently caused too. It's like you can, how do you not get a little bit choked up, hearing the stories, knowing that they are in the same circle as us, in a sense that we're all racers and a big family, and I think that was gets me a little bit when I see that.
Mine was absolutely no question. It was John Cruz.
Yeah.
That was my closest to
my heart. But he's your hero. But he's also your hero. Yeah.
The time I saw you at your shop in Folsom, and you took me to the side, and we had the conversation about, when you first asked, why me? And you came to the conclusion, why not me?
Yeah.
And you were the best person to be the spokesman. And that always hit home for me. And that solidified you as, in my mind, as, again, the hero I always looked up to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you are you to this day, John, you are that guy to us, to me, and to thousands and thousands of other people. And we want to help get that message out through our little venue here.
Sure.
You are fantastic.
Yeah. So that was a tender moment for me. I've had relationships with everyone we've done it with, so it's been different for me, but I really have loved doing them. And most of them, they're all my babies, right? Every single episode is my baby. It's hard to choose a favorite, but I tell you, certainly the one I laughed the hardest was Greg Grubbs and Joe Bomber.
Oh my God. It was so funny.
And it was
everything about it.
Yeah, everything about it. Because they, chapping on each other and then
they still do it.
Still do it. They're like an old married couple, man. It's hilarious every time. But when he started freezing up, every time his internet froze up, we would just lose it.
I'll call your therapist for you. Get it set up.
Oh man, this is why we do the podcast.
Absolutely.
That's exactly why we do it.
My favorite.
All right. Well, on that note, I gotta go walk the dog. AOC's got a campaign to hit some sort of a stop. GOC.
And I had to edit out. I edited out probably 20 minutes of nothing more than just us laughing. God, it got so infectious. It was great.
Yeah. From a funny standpoint, man, I think for me, our one with Charles, we laughed quite a bit. Anytime you're around Charles, right? You're always, it's always jokes. It's always fun time. You're always going to be laughing.
All right, let's let this Joker in and see what happens. I hope.
Oh no! Look at this.
Guaranteed,
guy.
he's smiling and laughing.
Yeah, I guarantee it for sure.
Yeah. And it's gonna start with.
Exactly.
He's on.
He's on. I told you.
Oh no!
Exactly what you said, Hollywood.
Hold on, look.
Ropes. Coley was also pretty. He's a funny dude. So definitely some fun stories there. But dude, I really laughed hard. And I remember this in the Tommy Brackens one. When we were talking about his choice words that he had for those guys.
His inability to curse. Yeah. He just can't swear, man. This guy cut us off. Absolutely cut right in front of us in the car. And Tommy was, and I was like, yeah, Tommy, I can't believe you did that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Go get him, Tommy. Go get him. Tommy, you're not gonna let him do that. Are you not gonna let him do that to you? Come on, Tommy, go get him. And he goes, that's it. I'm gonna get him. And Tom pulls up next to him. And I said, yeah, Tommy. I rolled down the window. Tell him, Tommy, get him, Tommy. Tell him. And Tommy goes, I'm gonna flick him off. And I was like, yeah, Tommy, get him. And he rolls down the and I tell the guy, roll down the window. Yeah, he rolled down the window. I go tell him, Tommy. And Tommy says, you dumb butt.
Dude, I was singing so bad. I want to call him, but I can't say it. But
man,
I
didn't
don't
say it, and all of us all just looked at each other like, oh man. And then I just rolled the window back up, and we just laughed and laughed. And Tommy was fuming, but
that was
it. Losing
that's
it.
as mad
Lost
as he gets.
Yeah,
dumb butt.
That was road rage.
Dumb
that
butt.
was road back then. Yeah,
that's how.
That was.
Oh,
and I remember that moment laughing so hard there, just thinking, because you could, knowing Tommy as well as we do, I wasn't there, I wasn't present, but I could. Absolutely. I was present when you were describing it. And when it was being described, I was like, oh my gosh, I could see this so much. And I could see his face. I could see everything. And it just, I fell out on that one. That was hilarious.
Well, for our friends who haven't seen them all, I strongly encourage you go back and see some of it or watch them again. there'll be some funny stuff. Oh my gosh. Again, I every once in a while I'll go back and watch a little bit of something and I just crack up. I laugh, or I'll be driving and listening to it and I start laughing. And I love when my friends text me, and they'll text me out of the blue. Hey, I'm watching it right now and I love this, or I'm cracking up about this, and it reminds them of other stories. Oh, you should have told the one about the. It's like, God, you can't remember them all.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, fellas, it has been a fantastic voyage, and I've loved it. I loved every minute of it. I can't imagine doing it with anyone else.
I mean, like, what about guest wanted?
Whoa, who's on your hit list? Let me ask
Oh.
you. That's a great question, AC.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who would you like to have?
I got a number of guys that I would love to interview, man. I think they'd be really insightful.
Let's see if we have crossovers.
Okay. I would love to have, and these two could be together or separate. I'd love to have Magoo. Harold would be, I mean, dude, anybody who knows Harold knows how funny that would be. And Moeller. I think both of those guys would be insightful. They know a lot of history, and they were involved in all facets of the sport, right? Freestyle, dirt jumping, and BMX racing. So I think those would be good. I'd love to interview Richie Anderson. I think he definitely has a place in our sport. I'd like to interview him. Bill and Danny Nelson would be really interesting to me. You know, Danny started as I think he started when he was 6 or 7, and he went all the way to winning as a AA pro, man, at titles. So I can't think of, maybe Mike King, who is another person I'd like to interview. I can't think of, there's not many guys that went from that age all the way and were successful all the way along the way. So those would be interesting. Merle Menega and Steve Roden would be fantastic and super insightful as to how our sport grew and how they went about growing it, because those guys were super important part of how that grew. And then I'd like to interview Guyby, who was a real instrumental person at BMX Action when BMX Action was really blowing up. So that's a short list of guys that I would like.
Those are all good. You went
What did you
outside the
have,
box.
JV?
Mike Polson, number 1. I know he's going to be a tough one to get. I like you guys know this already. I think Billy Griggs would be good, and for the same reasons, EC, that since he was a little kid, like he's always been in the spotlight type of thing, and even now to be competitive, the same as Roop, right? I mean, both of those. I have Roop on here too, but to be competitive, and we've talked about it in the 80s, right? And then even today, it's two different riding styles that you've had to adapt to.
They're different sports.
Exactly. Totally different. And to still be competitive is awesome. I would say, sorry, I'm digressing here when I say, I think that it may not have been as hard for them to stay competitive because they've been at it the whole time as it evolved than someone like Charlie Williams, who stopped racing and then came back, right, at these new tracks, and the whole way it's just totally,
and got busted up a couple times along the way.
Exactly. So I think those guys would be good. And then I think Terry would be an interesting one to get a hold of. And then my number 1 would be any powerhouse from the East, from the Northeast. Gotta throw that in.
I like that you put Northeast. I like that you put Northeast, because
I gotta be
right.
We've made it so we have to be very specific.
Let's
you
not
know?
That's
get
right.
confused.
Yeah, Philly or north of Philly.
North of Philly, exactly.
Yet south of Massachusetts, and it has to be west of Pennsylvania.
Right. It's a slither of
Yes.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh
then
my
you,
God.
yeah. And you, Mike?
Well, when I came up with this idea, was it 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I wrote all my notes way back when. I was just looking at it. I was actually just pulling it up right here. I have the list of all the guests I wanted, and what I've done over the course of these 38 episodes. When I have a guest, I erase their name off of there, unless I have them on again with somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. So my guest list is about everybody you could name. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
got to be huge, right?
It's every name that you guys have said. It's every name that you've said, plus everyone you can think of.
Yeah.
Because I literally have put everyone on there. I bet you there's not a name that's not on this list. But it's, when we're only doing basically 20 episodes a year, roughly.
Yeah.
It's hard. You can't fit them all in. You can't get them all in. Plus, because we do some that are ourselves, we're not going to get everybody. Well, we are. It's just going to take us years.
Right.
We're going to do that. And we are going to do this for years. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
It's true. I mean, there's only so many episodes a year, so it's hard. I know I know you've been hit up, Mike. I haven't really been hit up about it, but I know you've been hit up by guys that are like, dude, I'd love to be on the show. I'd love to be on the show. And it's like, yeah. Yeah.
One of them wore us out.
Yeah. I mean, we have, there's 100 guys that we'd like to have on the show. Right. So that's 5 years worth of content if we don't do any on our own.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah. Easily 5 years worth of content. And some of them are technically challenged.
Right.
I'll just say that, there's a guy that we have lined up, and I have now purchased an iPad, loaded everything in there for him so he can just open the mail, plug it in and charge it, and then we can do a podcast. We'll get there. We'll get there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, anything else, guys?
Well, we didn't talk about our favorites.
Oh,
what was your absolute favorite? JV, what was your absolute favorite?
Oh man, I think I've said this before. I think Dave Clinton and Byron Friday were my favorite, just because of the history that that they've been a part of in the evolution of our sport. I mean, I thought I was super interested just to hear about all of that stuff that they were involved in. Yeah, so I enjoyed that. That was my favorite for a different for different reasons, just for knowledge. But I thought, wow. I don't believe that a lot of people that are big BMXers, if they didn't listen to that part, if they didn't listen to that one, they should, because they would be super interested in it.
EC?
Well, I'm gonna give a nod to what JV's saying. I think I learned the most when it comes to when it comes to Byron and Clinton.
Yeah.
Oz was close there. I learned a lot with them. But for my favorite, it was with Oz. Just because, I mean, dude.
Yeah.
He wasn't designing bikes and developing bikes, but like how important he was to our sport and what he put out. I was fascinated. I was like, I will say that's the only one that I was probably nervous for. All the other ones I've not been nervous for. And that one I was a little bit like, ooh, Stu, I was a little bit as well. Because those guys, to me, those guys are like way up there, pillars.
I was a little nervous for the one with Stu, just because I didn't really know. I mean, I've talked with Stu multiple times, and since the podcast, I've talked to him a bunch more. Like this weekend, he was at the races, and I talked with Stu for like 15, 20 minutes. It was fantastic. I was a little nervous for that one, but I don't know I don't know him very well. And like you said, dude, it's like talking to Moses, man.
It's Oz.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
Oz.
I know, it's pretty wild, dude. I mean, I thought about it. You guys know me, man. I freestyle the whole time, dude. And so we were texting back and forth yesterday, Hollywood. I mean, I was thinking about it all day yesterday at work, like on the tractor, working the bucket, and just thinking like, oh my gosh, dude, like what kind of questions can I ask him? And with Oz, you know, to hear him talk about the publication, to hear him talk about the history, and to see how much he remembers. He remembers so many little details about photo shoots.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so I found that fascinating, man. And so the one with Oz, I was like, I felt like we were lucky to be able to have that. And I feel like I was lucky to have that experience, just to have that time with him.
And super humble, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was great. I love that.
Went out of his way to give the credit to all the writers.
Exactly.
And not to take the credit himself, man, just over and over.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How about you, Hollywood?
Well, mine was, it's like I said, it's kind of different for me because I'm interviewing my friends. I know them all.
Right.
But to talk to your boyhood heroes, to the guys that really you shaped your life after, and the ones you shared life with, is really different. So for me, I always say that John Cruise was my favorite episode because it meant so much to me. Yeah. That's still I loved, Perry Kramer was great because I love him so much. Again, a hero to me, a guy that was super cool to me. And then finally, I have to say that, whenever you get to spend time with your twin brother, talking to Tommy Lee Brackens is, every time I talk to him, which is pretty often, I cherish every minute with him because he's, he's my twin brother. What can I say?
Special. He's a special guy, man.
He's a special guy. Yeah. So those three are by far my favorites. And again, and Sherry Elliott is one, it's funny when I tell people check out one of our episodes, I send them Sherry Elliott.
Yeah.
It was really good, man. It was like, I could go on, a list of all the things about all the podcasts we've done. I mean, Sherry could be in all of them except for the toughest to do. But like I would want to do one with her again. I mean, we touched on a lot of stuff, but I mean, there are some that I'd like to do again as well. But yeah, that Sherry one was pretty special as well.
We talked about the guests we'd like to have. There's probably some topics that we haven't talked about that we would like to talk about in detail. I know there are some for me. There's stuff I'd like to bring up to do an episode on of just a topic. Yeah. So there's good stuff to do. There's a lot of good stuff yet to do.
Oh, just in your list, Mike, just in the list that we have of people we want to do. I mean, that's assuming that we can get those guys. Like,
let me tell you, if we did an episode every single week, which we are not going to do.
Right.
If we do it every other week, 2 a month. If we did one every single week, we wouldn't get through this list in 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just a ton of names.
Yeah.
And I have international guys on here.
Right.
So there's just and I'm hopefully that we're going to get chances to do some that are remote. And I'm looking forward to doing one live.
You're going to get Andy Ruffalo and Tim March together?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
I hear that.
It's funny. Both of them are on my list. Absolutely. Both of them are on my list.
I will say we will never get both of those guys at the same time. That is not happening.
A boy has to dream.
He does, but it ain't.
I have to dream, man.
Yeah.
Hey, my old saying, I work back from perfect. And if it was perfect, I'd get them both on at the same time.
Yeah.
Live in a cage match.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. We would all have to do it in one location, and there would have to be a boxing ring set aside. So when it did get to where it got, then they could step over there.
Oh, it'd be so good. It'd be so good. We'd have on my list, I'll just tell you, on my list, there are more than one boxing ring episodes.
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. And one specifically, I've talked to both parties, and they will do it.
No
and
way.
they both want to box. I would love to do an episode in your mom's garage.
Oh,
EC.
dude. Can you imagine?
All the stuff
Just-
in there.
Oh my gosh, all the stuff in there.
And we
JB,
just go and we just pick through it and we look at everything.
yeah, and pull stuff out.
Yeah, it would be an interesting episode to go through the stuff. I mean, shit, just our sticker box that we went through Hollywood.
Yeah.
Brother,
just the Van's shoe sticker box was awesome.
We could totally do it. We'll be together before Dirty Fest.
There it
That
is.
you know what? That's one guy that I don't have on my list is Hans Jobé.
Oh yeah, Hans Jobé. True.
We do need to get Hans Jobé on the. He's a
Yeah.
tough. He's a tough one to get a hold of.
Tough to get a handle on.
It's tough to get a handle on that.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, man, this is again, it was an absolute pleasure to do it with you guys. I can't ever imagine doing it with anyone else, and I wouldn't want to. And it's a special dynamic that the three of us have together. And I just hope we can, 5 years from now, we can look back at this show and say, yeah, can you imagine? We said we were going to keep you going.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
So, man, yeah,
These are the outtakes.
these are the outtakes. Yeah, I'm telling you, the outtakes are hilarious. Some of the shit that we say.
Hey,
Well, I hope you really enjoyed that one. We sure did enjoy doing them. Well, I hope you really enjoyed that one. We enjoyed doing it. It was always a blast to do. Hey, hope you really enjoyed that one. We really enjoyed doing them. I'll tell you that. We are going to. Would you just talk into the mic and give us a 20 or 30-second cult commercial?
Seriously?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, just give me a. Hey.
throw the Hollywood cheese in there.
Yeah, throw the cheese. I love the cheese. Hey.
It's the cheesier the better.
Cult tires.
man.
1 for 10, 2 for 25.
Hey, it's Hollywood here.
Yes.
And the color of those tires matches the color of your hair.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
Putting them on the spot. Putting them on the spot.
If she hides and you can't find her, just get yourself a cult weed grinder.
Oh my god, Mike.
Yeah, terrible.
Yay, terrible.
It's a curse, man. It's a curse.
Yes.
Get
Holy
yourself a weed grinder.
Hey, you're good at that
What
shit.
the fuck?
It really is, huh?
Man.
Terrible. It's a curse, man.
Hey, I gotta get you that code too, right?
Sure, give us a code.
Discount code and a giveaway. I'm writing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And then sing it out right now.
All right, coming live and direct from the Cult Clubhouse in Santa Ana, California. Come on down and get all your BMX needs. We're giving away free air for your tires. That's all I got, brother.
That's great. That's great. All right, now.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Service in the industry along with products of hopeful. Sorry.
It's terribly written. How about that? With products that hopefully exceed your expectations. Terrible. Yeah,
Not will.
yeah. Hopefully you think it's okay.
Yeah, maybe it
Hey.
will. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't.
Hey, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Maybe we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe you won't like them.
Yeah. That's our Sun Tour. Where our motto is.
All right.
Okay. SR Sun Tour shares your passion of cycling. We are committed to giving you the highest level of service in the industry, along with products that hopefully will exceed your expectations. Serving riders is the cornerstone of our business, and we pride ourselves in doing it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Can I just say, read it again? But I would not write. I would not put in Temecula area. Would you?
I don't like it because I think it's bigger than that.
Yeah, I'd say Southern California.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, Yeah.
On the western half of the Milky Way.
No, the western, yeah.
Yeah. Of the globe, northern hemisphere. Yeah, read it again. Make it Southern California. Stop making that face.
You squint. You
I'm
can't read
trying
it.
to read it.
Can't read it.
That's an old guy trying to read it.
What do they say? Punch it up.
Okay.
Veracity.
Velocity Bike Park is
I'll
the
start again. I was talking. Sorry. Veracity.
Velocity. Oh,
It's
very
our
good bike
Suntour.
park. It's a very good bike park.
What a gravel.
We use
What a-
Suntour.
Oh, yeah, gravel.
Gravel. Okay.
All right.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. We're recording. And then I'll just edit it.
Okay, perfect.
Ultramax.
Ultramax balls.
We sell big balls and small balls.
What's that say right there?
So try it again. Try it again without candy in your mouth. Or with candy in your mouth. Just try it a couple times.
Have at it, Van. Have it. Oh, okay, we're ready. Ultramax. Are you tired of just dragging your knobs through the dirt? Well, we have got exactly what your dirty knobs need. The Ultramax Ultramat. Not available where tighty whitey underwear are sold, but you can get a brand new Ultramat at dirtyknobs.com.
Perfect.
All right, Studley.
All right. So I have your logo. I'm going to put it up and do your thing. Hold on. Let me get my little thing here. Watch this. 4416 Designs commercial. Take one.
There you go. All right. 4416 Designs. We make shirts, but we don't sell them. We're just giving back to the sport. If you're out at Ukaipa BMX and you need a shirt, hit me up. I'll hook you up with one.
Supercross BMX. What can we say? Our lives revolve around BMX.
Whatever dirt. God, dirty fest. This is tougher than you think.
Hey folks, how we doing? This is Mike Rodriguez, aka Mr. Crit. I've been racing since 1975. Yeah. Hey folks, this is Mike Rodriguez, aka Mr. Crit. I've been racing since 1979, making number plates since 1980. Handmade in the United States,
I've got my best friend Craig, and you could be like, "Hey, what's up, everybody?" I was like, or I'll say something like, "Hey, I've got a podcast about 80s BMX, big bikes. We do it with my best friend Craig," and you could be like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you come over and check us out. We interview legends. We talk about current big bike news. Hey, enjoy Mike and the crew, but we'll talk to you. So we'd love the opportunity to win you over as another podcast that you enjoy."
Yeah, just
Can I
ping
make a
pong it.
suggestion?
You intro
Yeah.
it. I'll say something and then it ping pongs back to you. You could close it out.
Yeah, go ahead. Whatever, Mike.
My suggestion is just do exactly what you just did. Just do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mike's
we
going to
could-
edit it, so we don't.
we
have to be
could've- no, I'm
perfect
not.
as we
No,
always
no, I
are.
could have just put that out right there. Hey, Dale Holmes, I want to tell you, one of my favorite podcasts that I never miss is BMX Weekly.
Thanks, Mike. BMXweekly.com. Fuck. Say that again.
Hey, Dale Holmes, I want to tell you something. One of my favorite podcasts that I never miss is BMX Weekly. Even though it has an accent, I still love it.
Cheers, Mike. You can get all the podcasts on BMXweekly.com. Old school, mid school, today's school. Check it out.
Yeah, BMX Weekly. Okay, give us a couple of beer budget BMX commercials.
Hey, here we go. Hey, Beer Budget BMX, baby. Coming at you live from the Beer Budget Studios over here at the Hack Shack Quarantine. Oh, man, we're coming in hotter than Satan's nutsack. Yeah, we are dirtier than an Alabama strip club where reclass pros go and get lap dances by their half-sister. Yeah, the only show that'll make you second-guess your life choices like a Amish on an e-bike. Pretty much sums it up right there.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay.
Hey.
What? Nate, that's my line. You're not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to say, hey, welcome
to the Dirty Knobs podcast.
Wait a minute. I'm
Hollywood Mike Miranda.
No, see, this is not going to work because you're too good. I'm Hollywood Mike Miranda, and this is the Dirty Knobs podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Dirty Knobs podcast. I'm your host, Hollywood Mike Miranda.
Is this job that easy?
Hey, welcome to the Dirty Knobs podcast. I'm your host, Hollywood Mike Miranda.
Do I sound like that?
Hold on.
Nice.
It's 10:09. I still would have won.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't bet, I would have won.
I don't know. Why?
I would have won. Listen, we've been doing like 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Yeah, true.
I would have gone 8 minutes. If you'd have said 10, I'd have given, I might not have taken that.
Dude.
Look.
Dude, you're eating lasagna for breakfast?
I am, ma'am.
Oh my God.
Bro, Mama cooked the breakfast with no hog.
There is no telling what goes on or in that thing over there.
There's no difference between meals. It's all the same.
Dude, good is good.
Whatever gets thrown in the trough, he goes right at it.
Yeah.
Good is good, bro. Good
Yeah,
is good.
I mean, I hear
Amen. Yeah, good is good. Breakfast for
actually-
dinner, no problem.
Right.
It's a great take,
True,
PC.
true.
I completely agree with you. Great take.
Yeah, exactly. Very true. Very wise. You're a very wise man.
Mm.
For a guy that eats lasagna in the morning, you're
it must
very
be
wise.
it must be the diet.
It's the constant
It is,
intake.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat crayons for
the
dessert.
Brain, keeping the brain, fed and
Yeah, it never
revved
runs
up,
out of
fueled to
fuel,
go.
bro. Yep.
Keep it dirty.